Oba Kosoko of Lagos was one of the most formidable indigenous rulers to confront British imperial expansion in the 19th century. His conflict with British forces was rooted in a struggle for political control, economic independence, and the sovereignty of Lagos at a time when European powers were tightening their grip on West African coasts. Lagos, known locally as Eko, was a prosperous coastal city whose wealth and influence came from maritime trade. Although it owed nominal allegiance to Oba of Benin, Lagos was largely autonomous, governed by powerful local kings and chiefs. By the early 1800s, the city had become a strategic commercial hub, attracting European traders. As Britain intensified its campaign to suppress the transatlantic slave trade and expand legitimate commerce, Lagos became a prime target for political intervention. Kosoko was the son of Oba Ologun, one of the most powerful rulers Lagos had known. After Ologun death, succession disputes tore the royal family apart. Kosoko believed the throne was his by right, but internal politics and opposition from influential chiefs led to the installation of other rulers. His uncle Oba Adele was placed on the throne, prompting Kosoko to revolt.
We must address this now, leader. Your concerns are noted, but hear my stance.
Although he briefly seized power, he was eventually driven into exile. Later, Oba Akitoye, Kosoko's rival, became king.
We gather today to honor our traditions and seek guidance for our people. Let the ceremony commence.
But his rule was weak and unpopular. Taking advantage of this dissatisfaction, Kosoko returned with military strength, defeated Akintoye, and by about 1845 firmly established himself as the ruler of Lagos. As king, Kosoko ruled with authority and commanded strong loyalty from warriors and chiefs. However, this control of Lagos conflicted directly with British interests. Britain viewed Kosoko as hostile to its anti-slavery agenda and commercial ambitions, while Kosoko saw British involvement as a threat to Lagos' independence. When Akintoye was overthrown, he fled Lagos and sought British support, promising to end the slave trade and open Lagos to British commerce if he were restored to power.
Please help me dethrone Kosoko and Kosoko. I promise I will open Lagos to British commerce and embassies.
Gentlemen, we must consider the implications of this route carefully.
This alliance gave Britain both a political excuse and a local ally for military intervention. In November 1851, British naval forces launched their first attack on Lagos. Armed steamships equipped with cannons and rockets entered the lagoon and bombarded Kosoko's strongholds. Kosoko mobilized thousands of warriors and fortified the city's defenses along the waterways. The fighting was intense, and despite the technological superiority of the British, Kosoko's forces resisted fiercely. The British suffered casualties and were forced to withdraw temporarily, demonstrating that Lagos would not fall without serious resistance. Determined to break Kosoko's power, the British returned in December 1851 with great force. The second assault was overwhelming. For 2 days, British warships shelled Lagos relentlessly, setting buildings ablaze and destroying defensive positions. Kosovo's warriors fought bravely, but their traditional weapons could not match the sustained firepower of the British Navy. Facing inevitable defeat and massive destruction, Kosoko withdrew from Lagos with his followers. This decisive confrontation became known as the Bombardment of Lagos. Following Kosoko's departure, the British reinstated Oba Akitoye as king almost immediately. Akitoye signed treaties abolishing the slave trade and granting Britain significant commercial and political influence over Lagos. After Akitoye's death, his son Oba Dosunmu succeeded him under British protection, further weakening indigenous authority. These developments paved the way for deeper British control. Kosoko did not disappear from history. After his removal, he resettled in Epe, where he established a rival center of power. From there, he continued to influence regional politics, control trade routes, and challenge British dominance indirectly. His continued strength forced the British to negotiate rather than attempt another costly military campaign. In 1854, Kosoko signed the Treaty of Epe, renouncing his claim to Lagos throne and agreeing to abandon the slave trade in exchange for recognition as ruler of Epe and the right to engage in legitimate commerce. Despite these agreements, British involvement in Lagos deepened over time. In 1861, Lagos was formally annexed by Britain, ending its status as an independent kingdom and marking the beginning of colonial rule. Kosoko's earlier defeat was a crucial turning point that made this annexation possible. Oba Kosoko's battle against British forces was not merely a military conflict, but a struggle to preserve sovereignty in the face of imperial expansion. Though ultimately defeated by superior weaponry and foreign alliances, Kosoko's resistance stands as a powerful symbol of indigenous courage and defiance. His story reflects the broader African experience of confronting colonial intrusion and remains a significant chapter in the history of Lagos and Nigeria.